I will I'll repeat that even without the quorum, we have been really getting out there in the community a couple times a month. And so our current anchor project, Mapping Prejudice, is going very well. And so lots of community members, lots of students from both our school, from Winston-Salem State and from Wake Forest have been involved. We'll have 2 more meetings for the community this year, and then we'll continue on next semester, of course. But we would definitely like a quorum because I think the committee should be thinking about things like maybe we can have a special day somewhere where we can invite people to give their oral histories, and that's something we've been talking about and we envisioned, and so um, we really need everybody to buy in. In the meantime, Reverend Camila and I can be working on church things because, of course, I'm a church historian, and so that's really my favorite collection area and theme. And I actually have some students working on that now. But Director Biggs, should we start or should we wait a few more minutes?
Yes, you can go ahead and call the meeting to order.
Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm calling our November 5th, 2025 meeting of the African American Heritage Initiative Committee to order. So I welcome you all. It's wonderful to see everyone. Thank you for joining us. We don't have a quorum, but Ms. Carlin, would you care to call roll anyway?
Sure thing. Hi, everyone. Chairperson Villa Gomez.
Present.
Mr. DeRaw. Mr. Fanay. Mr. Fulton. Ms. McNeil. Ms. Williams. Ms. Rondi.
Here.
And Ms. Witters.
Thank you, Ms. Duncan. Well, we don't have a quorum, so we can't vote on our minutes from the last few months. So I will move on, and I have 4 items to discuss. The first I've already mentioned, so Mapping Prejudice is going very well, and we have more interns. We have our political science. We have 5 political science interns joining our history interns. And then there are several students over at Wake Forest who are working on the project. I have one non-traditional student, Miss Linda Fox, who grew up in Kimberly Park, and she's come back to school. And she's looked at something like probably 1,400 of the deeds. And in the meantime, of course, she's found some with the racist restrictive covenants, but she's also found some because of the way this project is coded. We gave the deed machine that the University of Minnesota created. We gave them got thousands and thousands of documents that came from our registrar of deeds. And so we put in words like Negro, non-Caucasian, etc. And so many things came up that mentioned African Americans, Negroes, etc., but not with a restriction. So many church documents are coming up, and just very interesting things about our community. So the Black Barber Association, and again, churches. And so our students are going to do more than just work on looking for the restrictive racist covenants. And so we're excited that we can use those deeds because we probably wouldn't have been able to so readily access that many of them. And they're very important documents. So I would invite everyone to this Saturday. I should share the Zoom link, and then I will send out the last meeting that we'll have at CDI. And then we'll be continuing to host probably 2 community-wide meetings a month when we come back for the new year. So I won't move on to the local Black church and neighborhood projects. This really relates to, of course, what I've and Council Member Scipio, especially we've had our heart for these collection areas. I'm a church historian and a church girl, so the churches are very, very close to my heart. But in hoping and praying for some new history majors, I had the answer to my prayer. I have 4 non-traditional lady students now. One is a reverend. Miss Linda moved back to town. I have Desiree, who's from the Best family, old Black Winston-Salem family, and then my student Rakisha Glenn, who grew up here. So we are strategizing now for the spring for them to do oral histories with their own family members, with their church members, within their local neighborhoods, and then with their churches. And so hopefully that will give some anchor oral histories and digitized material. Miss Linda and I are really going to work hard on the Kimberly Park neighborhood in the spring. And so I think if we can get one neighborhood with lots of oral histories and pictures, that will be great. And then Reverend Camille and I, hopefully we can make the rounds of our historic Black churches. I think Reverend, with your connections as a Reverend, that would open doors. And I should also say that my pastor and colleague, Reverend Dr. Eric Gray, in his Black Church course at Winston-Salem State, has each student do a semester-long project on a local Black church. And so I asked him to partner with me. And I thought about possibly also adding to our archive by having the students who would care to do so, maybe do their presentations that we could record. So then we could have the student work on individual churches as well. So that's something that we can explore, but Dr. Gray and I will move forward on that. And hopefully, we can make more connections. And again, we've been saying this, especially Council Member Scipio, we want to really prioritize getting the oral histories of our elders. I know that Miss Linda has a gentleman in her church that's 103, and he grew up in his church. He's still quite lucid. And so we're trying to make arrangements to go to him and record what he wants to share. So I'm excited. These 4 ladies are really wonderful. They love history. They love our community. And Rakisha actually wants to go and get her master's degree in public history. And she's especially interested. She's been looking at Black oral history projects across the whole country. And so I think she's going to really be in her element. And I'm excited to take a step back and, just get them to where they need to go and then have them lead that. And along with Reverend Camille and I. So I will update you on how this is going. We also have heard from one person that leads the Boston Thurman neighborhood group, and he's been interested in mapping prejudice, but we're trying to also network and see if he would be happy to sort of set up some oral history collection dates. So that sort of relates then to, I think I mentioned, this is my 3rd item. Once we have a quorum, we have been discussing this went back to when we still had Miss Annette Wilson. We would love to have standalone meetings, and I've reached out to Central Library, and at one point they were open to facilitating like maybe a monthly meeting for AHI, and they have recording equipment. But after several attempts, I haven't heard back from their people. So I still think we might want to explore maybe a community night at the Malloy Jordan Library, or the Carver School Road Library. I think those could be very nice central places where we could just have standalone, so not an anchor project, but something that's just AHI. And maybe Councilperson Scipio and Director Biggs could help us brainstorm on that. And then my fourth item we mentioned before, this would be thinking about how to realign with our subcommittee assignments. I did also, this came out of a wonderful conversation I had with Councilperson Scipio. This is something which Miss Erica Simon has mentioned frequently over the past few years, and that is that the commissioners themselves should give their stories. So I will say that Mr. Dura and Mr. Finet did some wonderful interviews last summer, or maybe it was last fall. I learned so much from them, and Mr. Finet is a great interviewer, and so if we can maybe schedule some oral histories on the weekends, when he thinks historically, is a beautiful sort of theatrical kind voice, and I sort of like to see him be our official interviewer, because it would give a kind of consistency to our oral histories. But we have to actually start really getting people interested and inspired to share their history. So it's my hope and prayer that we will get the commissioners themselves. So, Reverend, would you like to give your oral history, and we could come and record you at your church? You could join me over at Winston-Salem State, and our archivist Tom Flynn, who does some of our oral history recordings, he could record you. But we would love to get your story, and of course multiple stories. So usually once the interview starts rolling along, people find that they have a lot to talk about. So they might start out talking about churches, and then they talk about school, and then they talk about life in their neighborhood, and everything always comes back to church, though. Every interview we've done. I love it. Almost starts with church and ends with church. But maybe that would be a nice precedent if we could do an oral history with you and get that into our digital NC. So we can work on that. You and I can talk offline. So those are my thoughts to share. So Director Biggs, unless there are questions, we maybe we will have time at the end to just kind of have open questions. But that's the end of my report for this month. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Chair, and I appreciate you sharing that wealth of information with the group. You and I, as you mentioned, have met within the last few weeks and discussed many of these things, and tried to brainstorm around engaging ways to invigorate the group, its work, and continue the good progress. A few things that I just wanted to mention that have happened since the last time we met. One of the things when I came in that we discussed was increasing engagement and really letting the community know that this is a resource to capture the oral histories of our elders. Marketing has been a great strategic partner in that. One of the things that, Chair, you can actually talk to the group some more about this, is that you were recently interviewed on a new podcast that our department is helping lead forward together. Our very own Robert Thompson is the great host of that show. It's meant to capture and digestible snapshots, different things about the department. We thought it was appropriate that the inaugural episode was on AAHI and its important work. Twofold. One, it was going to tell the community about what the group is doing, and two, it would be kind of evergreen content that can be shared. Hey, what does this group do? You could send this to someone, they can display it at their choosing. So it almost serves as a marketing piece in and of itself. That's still being edited from what I understand. But once we get that, that episode will be shared. Chair, did you have anything you want to share about that interview? And
Well, it was a lot of fun to meet. Of course, I know Robert and meet some of the other people working behind the scenes, and they were really interested in our local Black history. So after the podcast, we kept talking, and that was a lot of fun. So, but it was a great experience, and it's my hope and prayer that that will inspire more people to reach out to us and give their history. So we really did a plug and for people to reach out to us and schedule those oral histories and bring their photos, etc.
no, we greatly appreciate you participating in that. I think Mr. Thompson is now one of your biggest fans. I think he learned a lot even conducting that interview. So we appreciate your time. Another thing that I did want to mention, this was actually unbeknownst to me when I came in, that we had done a short um, PSA of sorts through marketing in a video that marketing then reshared with me and said, "Hey, John, I think this is evergreen. I don't know that we need to update this. It probably just needs to be redistributed and shared again." I envision that this is something again that members of the committee can distribute. They can display at their churches. They can display at their respective organizations that they participate in as a quick snapshot of what the group is doing, and it has a hard pitch at the end. Hey, send your stories to us, and it gives them the information they need to connect. Another thing, we did have an article in Winston-Salem today, I think it was. Erica made sure she let us know, hey, this may have been compiled by AI. So I do think some of the details may be a bit off, but nonetheless, it is good promotion and it's good activity, and also a huge Instagram campaign that was pushed out by our marketing team as well. Again, trying to get the word out about the group and what the good work that we're doing. Erica, did you want to let the group know about anything else? I know Erica, shameless plug, was recently at Union Baptist Church informing the group about some of our NDO and other services as a department. Anything else you want to share, Erica?
Absolutely. Good afternoon, all. Yes, so there are two things actually. We were at Union. It was they were focusing on disability, so we did um talk about what we do in the work fighting against people with disability, excuse me, discrimination with people with against people with disabilities. But I also put the AAHI tabletop tent on our table. Just Union has a very strong history, and I knew that that would grab some attention as people were leaving, and it did. Um, so I did have a few conversations with Cheryl Harry about, well, I had a conversation with Cheryl Harry about setting up a day to go after church, if that was an option, or to see what we have something called the SALT ministry, which is our senior ministry. Or going a day when they meet, so we can just, we've discovered that it works better if it's already something that's already organized and we can just attend that instead of trying to create an event. And so we're working on trying to hash that out to see what that looks like. So that would be an opportunity. Also, I got a call out of the blue from a lady that works at the Winston Lake Y, but I think it's now the Reach Center.
The Reach Center.
And so she saw the flyer and she thought that would be a great partnership for us to come down there and again collect those histories from that group of seniors who are already there. So she actually works for Goodwill, I believe. So she had to kind of run it through all of the channels. So I'm just waiting on the email to say that they're good to go and they're ready, and we can start setting those dates up.
Yeah.
So people have seen it. People are interested. Again, it's just a matter of making sure we take advantage of those groups when they're already meeting.
That's wonderful, Erica. That's really wonderful news. And of course, Union Baptist is very close to Winston-Salem State. That Y is very close. So I think whoever we would, if you met us over there, whether we use the city recording material or Tom Flynn came over. Miss Erica, would you like to do the interviews?
It's funny you say that. I had the opportunity to attend a history, the Association of State and Local Historians Conference in Cincinnati, in partnership with Tricultural Arts. And I actually purchased some material on oral history and what that looks like. And so I'm certainly trying to hone my skills.
Miss Erica, you have wonderful skills. You know, I've known you forever and you know how to communicate. I think it would be great if you did some or all of those interviews at the Y and at the church. I mean, I could come and help you in the background with questions or I wouldn't even need to be there. You could handle it on your own, but we could get together and brainstorm about a couple key questions. I know that's what Mr. Finet and Mr. Dura and I did before they did their recording sessions. They sort of agreed on some things. And one thing that we found, like when I really had one of the best experiences of my life ever was interviewing Miss Evelyn Terry at Juneteenth. It's probably 3-4 years ago now, but she started off, with one thing. She was very clear, and so these beautiful stories were self-contained, and after people start getting going, they remember things. So
Mhm.
you kind of wait, and then I guess one of the ethical ways to do the oral histories is to let them share what makes them happy and because it really is supposed to be about the person being interviewed is the priority. So especially if it's an elder, how do they feel and what do they want to share? But after you hear a story, sometimes you can put in a little question that will encourage them and give them that inspiration to go a little further or go in a new direction. So I'd be happy to work with you, but I think you would be the perfect interviewer.
We'll see.
I just
We'll
want
work
to say
on it.
I echo that. Erica's being humble. She would be a phenomenal interviewer. And with a timely update, our marketing team has let me know that the Forward Together podcast episode is available now on YouTube, or Apple or Spotify. So we'll get that link for you and we will send it to the group so we can get that good information.
I do want to say a couple other things for the record is that we have a couple of established senior citizens groups. One is at Rupert Bell and another is at the Minnie Harris Recreation Center. They meet monthly, and they're, again, going where the people are is the best way. You may not be able to get all of them interviewed, but at least you start, and then they get excited. And sometimes it really is more productive to talk to like 2 or 3 people at a time who have a common connection, because the memories start flowing and you really start getting some stuff that you didn't expect to hear come out. Uh, so That is an excellent idea. I was curious though, Dr. Villagomez, are you documenting the work? Are you videotaping or taking pictures of the people as they work on mapping prejudice? Are we collecting that for history? They are
Yes,
doing that work.
yes, we actually are. So every time we have a meeting out in the community, somebody takes pictures.
Okay.
Now there, so last spring for our scholarship week, we did for the history majors did beautiful presentations where we were able to put together. We did a whole panel in celebration of Miss Mady Halzuma, partly because we had a visiting scholar in our department from South Africa who talked about apartheid. So as we were studying redlining and how in our local area the entrenchment of the racist covenants, we found out that the person in North Carolina who orchestrated the institutionalization of segregation was a disciple of the man, and I don't remember these guys' names, but he was a disciple of the man who set up apartheid. And so we brought up Miss Mady in that her mother was a wonderful entrepreneur and realtor, and of course, then once she was married, she would come back home to Winston-Salem and do musical productions to get donations for her work with her husband. And so so we connected all of this together, and Tom's people came over, and so some of the library staff came over and they recorded those students. So I asked Mr. Flynn if he would post those because all of our interns are working on behalf of AHI, and so he hasn't uploaded those yet, but those are done. And there were some, I believe, a few years ago from the redlinings. And then, of course, when we built this, we had two of our students interview our two local Black architects, and I asked for those to be uploaded, and those haven't been uploaded yet. At the end of spring, we had the students interview one another to discuss how they feel about contributing to this project and what they've learned. And they, of course, have been so dedicated. And for Rakisha, for example, she's looking at these deeds. She sees neighborhoods that she knows. And, oh, I remember there. I went and played there as a child. Or so she sees properties and areas. So so we're continuing to document that, and I felt that would be another way to get some unique videos in that would show the work of AHI. And this, and then to add to that, Dr. Russ Smith and I are co-teaching our urban history class, and so we have 6 students from across campus, and they each have just finished off a project on one local Black neighborhood. So I have invited them to be recorded. Then the history major, Robert Sprinkle, he can't wait to redo his presentation for AHI. But again, that's something we're hoping that Dr. Gray and I can do moving forward, since we're going to keep having these students focus on one Black church. So we can talk about, continuing to involve the students in getting recordings of their work, documenting their work on behalf of the committee.
Thank you, Chair. Erica, I didn't know if there were any other things that we wanted to get in front of this group. I know the HRC department has some upcoming events and things. Chair, if you're ready to move to that portion of the agenda, we did have a few other things we just wanted to let the group know about upcoming events.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Director Biggs. I'd love to hear what everyone has
Some
to share.
Yes, so our holiday open house, which we normally do in December, we will be having that open house on next Friday, November 14th. We're, just kind of doing things a little different. And there's always a conflict with the mayor's office performances. And so we were just trying to work out some things and determine if we could move it around a little bit as to not have that conflict. So that open house is next Friday from 11:30 to 1 o'clock. 12 o'clock to 1:30. We're featuring 3 restaurants, various backgrounds. So we hope that you all will be able to come out and celebrate with us. Also, we're inviting all of our commissions and boards this year to walk with our Youth Advisory Council students in the Winston-Salem Ambassadors Holiday Parade. That parade is, I think, December 5th or 6th, whatever I think it's the 6th, that Saturday. Every year, Youth Advisory Council walks in the holiday parade to bring awareness to youth homelessness. And so we've just decided to open that up to all of our boards and commissions this year. So we've invited the HRC, we've invited our CAB students, as well as AAHI. So you'll get information about that as well. Also, we've also decided to open up to all of our boards and commissions our Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service, and you'll get more information about that. That is going to be in January 16th, I believe, and that is where the city of Winston-Salem, as an organization, as an employer, gives its employees 2 hours to do community service at various agencies and organizations around the city. And so we are inviting you out to come out, and if you would like to, and if you're available, to come and do that service with us. So you'll get information on that as well. I do believe that is all. Am I missing anything, Carlin? Thank you. One thing.
Veterans Day?
Thank you. Yes. Our Veterans Day recognition will be on, I don't have my calendar in front of me because
Well,
thank you, November 12th. Thank
yeah.
you. And so it just be a token of appreciation to our city employees who are veterans. And so we will be doing donuts and coffee for them. And so you are more than welcome to come out and participate in that as well. I do believe that is it.
Thank you, Erica. To address Councilmember Scipio's very friendly suggestion earlier, we are going to send out a doodle poll to the group about alternative meeting times. And of course, we will try to hit the time where we can have the greatest level of participation.
Thank you for that, Director Biggs. I want to ask Ms. Carlin a question. I didn't know Mr. Fulton was still on the council. He's been on the council since its inception. So I don't know why he's still on the council as a member.
Yeah, we're gonna have to review that. I was looking at that as well today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we
I
have
do.
to get together.
Yeah, because he was one of the original members, if I can, as I recall. So So I know he should have definitely rotated off. Of course, people can come back on after they've been off for, I think, a cycle.
And I believe we still have at least one open seat on
Yeah,
the
I think we
commission.
have a couple of seats open, I think. So, yeah, let's make sure we look at that.
Because I know Miss Annette Wilson finally rotated off. They were able to replace her seat because she called me to confirm that.
Yeah,
But I believe Mr. Fulton, as you said, he was an original
he was an
member.
original member.
And we will update that website. So hopefully folks that have rotated off will not continue to be contacted about the work of the committee.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'll just say this too, Director Biggs. Doodle polls are great for people who use doodle polls, but some people don't do doodle polls because they don't have access to computers. But I'm learning. So I guess they can learn too. So,
Councilman, we will use a combination of doodle poll and phone calls.
I think that would be very helpful. And yes, let's get to understand how many more people that we need to recruit to be on this committee. Because I think we're supposed to have 9.
Yes.
I think and I'm not sure if we have 9.
No.
And we no longer have a vice chair because Miss Wilson was our vice chair.
Oh, was she? Yeah. So we need to get it almost I won't say reorganized, I'll say refreshed, organized, so that we can get back in the cycle. But I think the time of day is really, really important. And I also know, though everything is going virtual in many ways, this kind of work needs to have a little personal touch, and the people doing it need to know each other also. So I think we might have to be a little more purposeful about getting people engaged and keeping them engaged and making them feel comfortable about adding others. The original concept was that we had a committee of 9, but they reached out, and every group, every area would have lots of people working in collecting those histories. But anyhow, let's see what we can do to get towards that vision.
That's all the updates for the department chair.
3.
Thank you, Director Biggs. Well, it really is a blessing to have Reverend Camille with us. Do you have some suggestions or questions while we're still on the call?
No, I don't. Thank you for asking.
I will email you my cell number, so maybe we can have a nice phone call or meet for coffee and brainstorm about how I can support you in your work. And of course, we can think about you giving an interview. So
Sounds like a plan.
perfect. Thank you, Reverend.
And Chair, when reaching out to schedule these interviews, if you do need some form of staff support in doing that, please let us know.
Thank you, Director Biggs. Yes. Maybe Miss Erica can go with me over to some of these places. And I know that Councilmember Scipio said it's always important to sort of build those relationships of trust first, and that's actually part of the oral history protocol. Is you build those relationships. You don't just go and try to get your elders, because in a way that's almost predatory. And I would say our unofficial archivist, Mr. Flynn, that's one thing that he's done when he helped us with Union Station, but he's being called often, and many of our elders will call him, and he'll go over there, and he helps them, move furniture around, and I know Michelle McCullough does that as well. and you know, so it really is about building relationship. And so if Miss Erica and I could go and hang out with the elders, that would be great. I did check the calendar. I believe our December meeting for now, if we keep it the same day and time, it will be Wednesday, December 3rd at 2 o'clock. So unless there are other last comments, questions, or suggestions, we can call this meeting to a close. Any final thoughts? Again, thank you, everyone. It's always just such a joy and blessing to see each of you. And I appreciate you so much. So take good care and reach out to me if you need me for anything. And Reverend Camille, I'll definitely get in touch with you via email and share my contact information.
Thank you very much. Have a great afternoon, everyone.
Yeah.
Take
you,
care.
everyone.
Nice hearing from you.